Hi, class. I did feel bad for not having time to practice with those of you who wanted to get more practice from the listening portion. We will be starting the listening portion on Friday. For some of you who are finished with reading, which is a lot, so I thought I would do a little screencastify um, to kind of show you guys how I'm doing it. Okay, so first things first is I want to read the questions ahead of time so I know what I'm listening for. Remember, with the listening test, I can only listen to the recording one time. I can't go back. However, I can pause as many times as I like, and I'm going to demonstrate pausing a lot. So first question is, what is the teacher mainly talking about? Basically, what is the main idea? So I'll probably maybe even answer that one last, because after I hear the whole thing, I'll probably have a better idea of what the main idea is. Number 12 says, what does the Erie Canal connect? So I'm just going to write connect, just to have notes for myself about what I'm listening for. And then if I hear that, I can write little notes near it. That being said, I think it goes without saying that for the listening portion, and maybe even the writing portion, well, obviously the writing portion, you want to have paper and pencil handy, like right next to you. I will remind you when we do the test, though, to make sure you have that. And so number 13 says, why does the teacher talk about bumpy dirt roads and rugged mountains? So I just wrote bumpy dirt roads and rugged mountains. So when I hear those key words, they wouldn't say those exact words if they probably didn't say those exact words in the recording. So that's what I'm going to listen for. 14 says, according to the teacher, why did people stop using the Erie Canal? Okay, so why did they stop? I'm guessing that'll come closer towards the end of the recording. And now I'm going to listen and demonstrate pausing a lot.
Listen to a teacher talking to his students about a canal.
Today we're going to talk about important construction projects that greatly impacted United States history.
Pause. Pause, pause, pause. Important construction projects, U.S. history. That's what I remember. So that's what I wrote. Important construction projects, U.S. history.
Our new topic is a famous canal that was built in New York during the 19th century, also known as the 1800s.
Okay, famous canal, New York, 19th century, and then in parentheses, 1800s. That always confused me when I was younger. So 19th century is actually the 1800s. We're in the 2000s, but it's the 21st century. So anyway, I'm going to keep going. I don't think I've heard any of these buzzwords yet. I don't think I have any idea of what the main idea might be yet, so I'm just going to keep listening and taking notes.
As you might have guessed, I'm talking about the Erie Canal. So what exactly is a canal? A canal is a waterway made by people to connect two areas of water. It's a river.
Waterway. I know he's kind of saying the same thing, but I will forget. Canal is a waterway made by people to connect bodies of water. So like other bodies of water. And I feel like I cut him off, and I feel like he was going to say it's like a road but water or something. Still haven't heard any answers to any questions.
Made by people.
It's like a river made by people. That's what he said. He said it's like a river made by people. So it is not a natural river, not a natural waterway.
often make canals to connect a lake to an ocean or a river to a lake.
Lake to ocean, river to lake. Is that what he said, or did he say river to river? I think he might have said river to river. I don't know. I can't go back.
Making a canal is tough. You have to keep digging between two bodies of water until they are finally connected.
Okay, like I said, I'm just pause. Utilize the pause. Don't rush through this. Keep digging until the two bodies of water connect. Still don't feel like I have an answer yet, because it says, what does the Erie Canal connect? And it's only talking about canals in general right now.
So which bodies of water does the Erie Canal connect? Well, the Erie Canal is a really long canal. It connects the Hudson River in eastern New York all the way to Lake Erie. That's over 300.
Okay, wait. Hudson River in New York to Lake Erie. Okay, now, look, number 12 doesn't say Hudson River or Lake Erie. Now, I know it's in the United States, so don't get confused. It obviously doesn't connect the United States to Europe, because those are on two different continents, and that would be the Atlantic Ocean. Nothing about roads. Even if I didn't know the answer, by process of elimination, I know it's not B or C. But even though the speaker gave me specific names, he did say Hudson River to Lake Erie. So it connects a river to a lake. Number 12.
350 miles.
350 miles. I don't think I need to know that. I mean, I wrote it down, but I don't think I need to know that because I know what questions they're asking me.
You might be wondering why this canal was so important, since there are canals in lots of cities. First of all, people used the canal to travel from New York City to towns across New York and Ohio.
I'll write that down. Connects New York City to towns in New York and Ohio.
Using the Erie Canal was much easier for settlers than traveling down bumpy dirt roads and over rugged mountains.
Easier for travelers, settlers. Okay. So I'm writing that near my bumpy dirt roads and rugged mountains. Easier for settlers. I think he said settlers. He might have said travelers. Either way, settlers did travel. They just had a destination, and they weren't trying to come back home. To travel? Let me see. Can it really be that easy? To describe why traveling was easier on a canal. To explain where canals are often built. To compare places where people chose to live. I'm just going to choose A because I did hear traveling was easier. Everything else is not really, unless he says something else about it in a moment, everything else doesn't really go with what he's saying.
The canal was both faster and far less dangerous.
Okay, faster, less dangerous, which would obviously also make it easier. If something's faster and less dangerous, it's easier.
Farmers also benefited from the Erie Canal. They could send the crops they grew on their farms to other areas of the United States much more quickly using the canal.
Okay, farmers, ships send crops to farther places. Okay, and again, I heard the word easier.
And finally, items made in factories in the United States and Europe could also be shipped easily on the canal.
Okay, now I've heard this guy say easily or easier 3 times. When it comes to traveling, when it comes to shipping farming crops, and when it comes to shipping goods or factory goods. Easy, easy, easy. I am very sure that A is my answer for number 13. Now, number 14, why did people stop using it? I haven't heard that yet. And the main idea, I'm going to go back to that when he's finished too.
So you see, it made trade much easier for people sending goods and for people receiving them.
Easier yet again.
So why don't we still use the Erie Canal for
Why don't we still? Which means why did we stop? I'm listening.
transportation today? Well, the Erie Canal remained important for business and travel for many, many years. But as time went on, it became less popular for transportation.
Okay, less popular for transportation. Fewer people wanted to travel. Factories no longer needed it. Railways and highways were built. Let's see, I don't know yet.
As railroads and highways were constructed in New York, the Erie Canal became a less efficient way to transport goods.
I heard those buzzwords, highways and railways. Do factories still not need to trade anymore? No, of course they do. Do people not want to travel? Of course they do. So it kind of already tells you A and B are kind of. But I heard railways and highways were built. Those become even more efficient than a canal. So there we go. It's going to be C.
Railroads and highways were more direct and allowed goods to arrive even earlier. But even though we don't use the Erie Canal in the same way, it will always remain an important part of United States history.
Okay, I feel very confident about 12, 13, 14, and now when I go back to 11, talking about how difficult it was to design, aside from talking about digging, how digging is hard, they didn't use the word design once that I heard. Why the Erie Canal was an important construction project and what materials. Did they talk about materials? No. Did they talk about difficulty in design? Not really. And so, again, B is kind of my obvious choice. But also remember at the beginning, he said, I'm going to talk about important construction projects in U.S. history. And then he talked about why it was important, even though we don't really use it anymore for those things. So I'm going to go with B. I feel very confident about my answers. No, this is not what I would consider the hardest one. This is kind of like a medium level hard. It begins with very easy things. I would say, like I said, this is kind of mid-level, and there are some harder ones after this too. But I wanted to model a middle level one because even on the harder ones, you're going to use the same skills, guys. You're going to read the question. You're going to pause often and take notes on everything you can remember you heard every time you pause. You're going to listen for buzzwords that you see in the questions. And when you do, you're going to go to that question because you just listened to it and write it down. Okay? Look at all these notes I took. It's a lot of notes, okay? So there's no such thing as too much notes. There's no such thing as pausing too many times. Don't rush, and I hope this helps.